Good morning. I'm your guest host, Cathy Rist Strauch for Northeast Current. And with me are two special friends of mine, colleagues of mine, who are with Actors Circle. As you know by now, I am also with Actors Circle. They're fellow board members and involved in our next show. Actors Circle is presenting Arms and the Man, May 9th through the 19th for 2 weekends. Now, John McInerney, right next to me here, he's our director, and fellow board member J.P. McGowan is one of our characters in the show. So I think the first thing I want to do is talk to John and say, John, tell us a bit about the show and what J.P. is doing in it, and J.P. could fill us in some more too.
Arms and the Man is a comedy that was written by George Bernard Shaw. He wrote it in the 1880s. It was a comedy in which he likes to poke fun at romanticism versus realism in love and in war. And it deals with an actual war that had been fought earlier, the Serbo-Bulgarian War.
And where?
In Bulgaria.
Bulgaria.
Okay. The action takes place in Bulgaria. This is in the aftermath of the war.
What year?
In 1884,
okay.
I believe, is the year of the war. And J.P. McGowan plays Major Petkov. And Major Petkov is coming home from the war, accompanied by the man that he believes is going to be his son-in-law, Sergius Saranov.
And that person's played by Howard
Jacoby.
Howard Jacoby. Okay.
And when they get home, we meet his wife, Catherine.
Who is also his real wife.
Who is his real wife.
We have a whole family
Janine.
in this show.
And Major Petkov's daughter, Laura.
Who is also his daughter.
Laura, who is playing Raina.
It's kind of a family affair in that respect.
It's a family affair.
Yes.
I think it's great. You guys work great as a family together.
It's a whole family.
Such chemistry.
But they find
Janine
out.
McGowan, that is.
Janine
and Laura.
Janine and Laura, that's
Yeah.
right. And they play Catherine and Raina. And they find out when they get home that much later, they find out that several months later, or several weeks earlier, I should say, Raina, in the immediate aftermath of the battle that was won by JP's side, she suddenly found herself the hostess, not quite anything she planned, of an escaped soldier from the other side. A handsome Swiss fellow who breaks into her room, and she gives him, on the spur of the moment, shelter.
And that's David that's playing, David Spitzer.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he'll be with us later on. Where do you see his costume?
So
We'll talk about that later.
The action then gets fast and furious as the ladies try to prevent Sergius and Major Petkov from finding out that the escaped Serb, or the escaped Swiss, he's actually a Swiss national. He's a paid soldier.
Soldier of fortune. Yeah.
There you go.
And things get even more complicated when unexpectedly the escaped soldier, the Swiss soldier, shows up again. And from there we get a whole comedy of errors, comedy of concealment, comedy of revelation, and at the end of the play,
Don't give away the ending.
Oh no, things are all turned around, but in very surprising ways.
Yeah, and there's that romance going on too with the two soldiers,
there's
right?
There's a tangled romance.
That's a good way of putting it.
That's a
Tangled
good way of
romance.
putting it. Yeah.
So JP, I'm curious, like a few times now, you and your wife, and Lolly, we call her, Laura, have played family roles together. How does that work? Like, do you see yourself being more you with your wife, or do you have to blend
certainly.
the
I
attitude
mean,
differently?
It is a lot easier to play certain types of scenes with someone whom you're very close to. For example, when my daughter has to come up and give me a kiss and say, "Oh, Papa," it's very natural for that to happen. Also, it's very helpful when you're rehearsing. My wife and I can spend time going back
Going
and
over
forth with our
lines, that
lines,
helps,
which
yes.
you can't necessarily
Uh-huh.
do with someone whom you're
Right,
not
right.
constantly with when you're
Yeah.
off stage or not at rehearsal. So it is. It's both a natural flow of things within the character, and it's helpful behind the scenes as well.
That's good. That's good. So how do you like playing this major?
I love it. I love the first role I've had to play in some kind of a uniform of sorts like this, and as you're going to show later,
Right.
our costumes
Uh-huh.
are quite elaborate thanks to Carol Arena.
Carol Arena, she does a fabulous
And,
job.
wonderful.
It's
There's
just
pictures that you'll be seeing, like the pictures we have don't give it all justice because they were made early before she really could embellish them. But what you'll see today with David, you could see how she embellished it, and we'll talk about that.
And they're
later
they're
as
very
well.
close to the real thing
Beautiful,
from that era.
beautiful
Quite,
work she does.
Quite accurate to the period, which was a very interesting period. You know, you're talking about
Yeah.
the decades leading up to World War I and everything happening in that part of the world, which really led to World War I. And if you have a sense of history, you'll appreciate the show even more.
That's good. Maybe, John, you're going to put a little sense of that history in director's notes in the program?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. I'm in
it-
charge of the program, so I'm
program,
telling them
to
we
do
want that.
Yeah, to do that.
Sure.
It's a very interesting exercise in what Shaw usually does. Shaw takes traditional popular dramatic forms like melodramas, like historical epics, like romantic comedies with a lot of farce in them, and he twists them sometimes and uses them to make some very interesting points about human nature and about culture too.
Yes.
So in this play, you get realists and you get romantics. And they clash not only about romance, but they clash about the nature of war as well.
Right. And not only the nature of war, but the whole class system that was very prevalent, especially in Europe at that
Yeah.
time, by the different characters of higher social structure and the manservants and the
That's
maids and all of that,
very good
which,
point. Yeah.
which was quite, common, and he's making his commentary on all of that in a
Yeah.
very subtle and funny way.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to take a break here, and when we come back, JP is going to be replaced by David Spitzer, who is going to be in that gorgeous, costume, the jacket he's going to promote. And thank you, JP, for being here.
Glad to be here.
And we'll be back after this. Welcome back. And again, I'm Cathy Rist Strauch, your guest host today for Northeast Current. And with me is John McInerney, the director for Actors Circle's show Arms and the Man, and one of his cast members, David Spitzer, who's joined us after I told you he would come. And you see this gorgeous suit he's wearing, the jacket. We have a nice display of David standing up, really showing off the garment. And David, I have to put a big shout out to Carol Arena, who is doing a fabulous job with the costumes. This is just one little piece
Yeah,
of
she
all of
really
them
did.
because of she has to do your outfit, the other men, they have to look proper, and the women. So, David, tell us more about your character and about those special pieces
yeah.
on there.
Well,
that were yours.
I play Captain Blunchley, who's the guy who breaks into the young lady's room after he's fleeing the fight, and I kind of stumble in on a family, and a little romance has started. Anyway, it's a really great story, and these uniforms are really great. Carol Arena really did a great job with these. She modeled them after the original uniforms, which are Serbian and Bulgarian. This particular uniform she modeled after a Serbian captain, which you can see the gold bar there, which signifies a captain. And these medals are actually mine out of my collection. I used them as piecing them together. They're actually original medals.
Do you know what they represent?
Mhm. This
Okay.
represents, this is actually a German medal. It's the Iron Cross of 1870, which is worn in lieu of the ribbon you wear in lieu of the cross. This right here is probably one of the most highly coveted medals even of today. they stopped producing them in 1918. This is a Pour le Mérite, which is the highest order of the military in Prussia, which was awarded to all Europeans from 1740 all the way to 1918 at the end of the First World War.
Now, not just to interrupt for a second, the fact that your character is what, a coward? He's wearing these medals.
Well,
is that a little irony here?
No, he's not a coward.
No, he's
not, really.
Okay.
Their position was overrun by the
Okay.
Bulgarian cavalry.
And you were smart enough to get out of
And
the way.
everybody
Okay.
flees.
I just wanted to double check.
Right. Because I had thought that
It's
too.
crying out about all these medals,
when
and
I
you ran away.
when I first started reading it, that's what I
Yeah.
felt too. And then as you start realizing what happened, they were overrun, and it was actually a retreat.
Okay.
But these would have been medals in wars prior.
Okay.
Captain Blunchley is a professional soldier who served in the European wars during the 1870s all the way to 1885. So he has a 15-year career.
Wow.
And these two medals here, this is what I love about this. I kind of combined everything.
Yeah. Well,
And this
looks great.
represents the Allied side, which was the French. These are French
Okay.
campaign
Wow.
ribbons.
And what about the cross?
That's infantry.
Infantry.
Yeah, cross rifles are
Okay.
infantry, yes.
And that other piece?
This is actually, this is a pocket watch.
Oh, pocket watch.
Yeah,
in there.
for when I have to check my
Nice.
time during the show.
Nice. You just have everything. And from what I gather, Carol said she started out with just a regular suit jacket there.
Yes, this is
And
just
she
a regular
did all
suit
that
coat.
trimming.
And she put all this, the red
Beautiful
piping,
work.
everything. Yeah.
And I was all over her because I had to do the publicity photos, and I said I need some things for these publicity shots. I can't wait till just days before the show. So she was working her tail off, and
Right.
it's gorgeous, it really is. Yeah. So I want to talk about some of our other cast members before we forget, because we have a nice picture of the full cast that's in the show, and among them we have, of course, Laura McGowan, who is the lead young lady,
Raina.
Raina, and Nicole Lopez-Iza and Victoria Cusi. There's a picture of them with Janine McGowan. The two girls are splitting the role of the maid,
Luca.
One, and who's first? I think Victoria plays it first.
Victoria will be first.
She's the
She'll
first
do the
weekend.
first weekend, yeah.
So if you're friends of Victoria, you want to be there the first weekend. And the second weekend will be Nicole Lopez-Iza. Also, we have Jeff Ginsburg. You all know Jeff. You should know Jeff. If you go to Actor Circle, everyone knows Jeff. He's producing the show as well. And he's playing this bit part where he comes in at some point, and when he's not there, John, you're handling the role.
That's right.
That's
the second weekend, I will be the soldier. I'd ask if I could make a shout out about our set designer.
Oh, yes,
Our
definitely.
set designer is Richard Larson, who is the director of the theater program at the University of Scranton,
Right.
and a very experienced and wonderful set designer.
Right.
And he helped us solve the problem of, on our limited space stage, he helped us solve the problem of going from one setting in the first act to another setting in the second act, and still a third setting in the third act,
Yes.
in a very striking way,
And
as I think you'll see.
And Carol Arena's brother, Joe
DiMartini is the set builder.
the set builder.
Yeah.
And Linda Griffiths is handling the sound and light board for the show, and Bob Spalletta is handling the lighting design. I think
Bob
we could,
Spalletta, lighting design and sound effects.
he's going to help you with
Yeah.
sound. Yeah, something I don't have to do for a change. Yay.
Yes.
And of course, I'm doing publicity, as always. It's Actor Circle at Providence Playhouse, 1256 Providence Road in Scranton. There's a poster that's up. Hopefully, she's showing it to you with all the information, the phone number to call for reservations, 342-9707. It's running 2 weekends. First, the preview night Thursday, and then Friday and Saturday at 8 p.m., the following Friday and Saturday at 8 p.m., and Sundays at 2 p.m., beginning May 9th on through May 19th.